next question we have is from, is it Gilly Blick? Yes. Yeah. Please don't hurry, it's fine. I'm not expecting to sprint from the back to the front. Okay, so you've asked question 2 there, and you've had a response. Do you have a supplementary question to ask?
I have. Is my microphone on? Yes. Excellent, we're winning then. I asked a question about single-sex toilets and changing rooms, specifically in the context of people claiming a transgender identity using the single-sex spaces of the opposite sex. The response that I've had has come back and said that single-sex spaces will continue to be provided both generally and at the Broadmeadow Leisure Centre. And that's all well and good as far as it goes, but the other document that you sent to me with the email was the Transgender Access Guidance, which sets out that a person claiming a transgender identity is allowed to use whichever facility they feel comfortable with. I do not feel comfortable sharing a changing room or a toilet facility with a man, however he identifies, and I feel that this is not...
Can I just ask you, I understand that you feel strongly on this. I have looked at the Equality Act, the Equality Act 2010, which provides a legal framework to protect the rights of individuals and advance equality of opportunity, and we are talking about a protected characteristic.
Yes, and sex is also a protected characteristic.
I understand you feel strongly about it. I'm asking you for a supplementary question.
Yes, and I'm coming to my question.
Can we just ask the question? Because I'm very aware that we're talking about a protected characteristic group.
Yes, and sex is also a protected characteristic, and that is the one that is being ignored. So my supplementary question is, I also included the 75-page advice of Karen Monaghan KC, which was in the matter of the Brighton and Hove City Council Trans-Inclusion Schools Toolkit, where she sets out at section 3.5 of her advice the reasons why permitting people to choose to use the single-sex facilities of the opposite sex is in breach of a number of laws, and I would like you to reassure me that you are going to actually look at the law or get some legal advice so that women are not subjected to men in their changing rooms and their toilets.
So can I so I'll just stop you there for a second. Your question is, can you be assured that the Council will be looking at relevant laws and cases to ensure that people are protected?
At this particular law, please.
Right. Okay, thank you.
Point of order, Chair. In respect of the law that you just quoted, misquoted actually, it's very clear...
So what's the breach that you're...
You've misquoted the law. You've misquoted the Equality Act 2010.
Have it here, and it's not in the rules, so I'm not accepting your point of order.
Chair, let me finish,
So I'm coming to Councillor Nutley for response to the question, please, because it's not something that's been broken, and that's what a point of order is. It's not the ability to...
You've misquoted the law. You have misquoted the law, Chair.
Point of order. If a councillor has a point of order, you let them make their point of order.
Councillor Nutley.
Thank you, Chair. Appreciate your questions. Obviously, every precaution has been taken obviously, with the separate toilets that we've supplied. Many, don't matter where you go. I mean, even in the hospitals, you have unisex toilets throughout the toilets and everywhere you go. In actual fact, and I will forward this to you if you wish, there is an actual guidance for frontline staff to assist trans people to access leisure facilities. I will forward that to you if you wish, and hopefully, and obviously, along with my leisure manager, or our leisure manager, we will forward you the answers in due course.
Thank you. So we next come to Cathy Mudge.
Hello.
Cathy Mudge.
Yes, thank you.
Carry
I've come to ask for clarification about the questions I asked. Firstly, because I don't think you actually answered them for me. It's about Broadmeadows Sports Centre, and it's also about your transgender access guidance. Firstly, I have asked the question.
Can I just check? You've had your responses. Is this a supplementary question?
This is a supplementary
Yeah,
question,
okay.
and it's a clarification of the answers that you gave me. Firstly, I asked who was doing the training and advising staff at Broadmeadows Sports Centre regarding transgender people coming in. We have concerns about the safety of women and girls in the female village changing area. I also have concerns that the staff will have to deal with this without a proper training and without knowing what they're dealing with. So I asked you what was happening with the training, and you said training will be arranged. So that's your answer. That doesn't tell me anything except that you're going to arrange training. Can you tell me who will be doing the training? Because obviously it's very difficult, because what they will have to do is they will have to decide what gender that person is presenting in. So that will be very interesting, how they will define that, how they will define it. Will it be clothes? Will it be makeup? Will it be hair? That's what I'd like to know. And also the other thing was, I said, how does the duty manager... Are you going to quote the Equality Act to me, or let me finish? Let me finish my question.
First of all, I'd like you to not be rude. What actually happens
No,
here...
don't say that to me. You're interrupting all of us.
You have your questions, and then you have your questions. They are answered, and then you get the chance to come in to ask a supplementary question. What you do not have the chance to do, whilst the chair is in control of the chamber, is you do not have the chance to what seems to be attack a group of people, a particular group of people that you do not agree with. That's not the case. So we have the evidence here that has been sent. Has this been sent back in questions? We have training in place. So you get to ask your supplementary question. That is what you get, the supplementary question. Okay? Right. And if you have a problem with how that is managed and how that's run here today, it's not the time to start shouting me down. It's time you can feel quite free to make a complaint about me and how I've run the meeting. That's fine. But I see it in my duty of care to protect people who are vulnerable, and I don't like the attack that seems to be going on with some of the questions that have already been asked of this chamber. Please carry on.
Order, Chair. She's not attacking anybody.
Please carry on.
She is not attacking anybody, and for you to start telling the guest speakers or the members of the public that they're doing that, this is nothing to do with trans people.
But this is a point of order, and this is how it works, which is that you haven't got permission to speak at the moment, Councillor Taylor.
And it's to do with men, because it's to do with
Would you like to
present your
supplementary
and I think that is out of order and rude.
Rosie, I would like to present my supplementary question. However, you keep interrupting me about vulnerable people. As a woman and as a representative of women and girls, they are vulnerable and more vulnerable than a man. So please let me finish. The next part of my question is this. You said, I asked how the duty manager can confirm if someone is indistinguishable from someone of their preferred gender if others disagree. The reply was, individuals are entitled to participate in our facilities. Firstly, I would say I never said that a trans person could not participate in the facilities. My concern is that they are participating in a fetish by going into the women's changing room as a man. That is what their participation is.
And that is exactly what I mean. So I think that's enough now. So
with a
supplementary question is fine. What you don't get the opportunity to do is to examine every single response you've had. You get to ask a supplementary question.
Okay? Rosie, well, thank you very much
for your time.
I'm glad this is on video because this is going to go viral.
Okay. Right, so the next question we have is Jenny Dingsdale. And just a note to councillors, when we start using phrases like fetish towards people regarding gender, regarding any vulnerability, protected characteristic, it's not acceptable. And using that kind of language it will not be tolerated in a meeting that I'm chairing.
You're not a teacher. This is a democratic forum.
Not be tolerated. It is not something that should be televised by the council.
It's not about you and your opinion.
This is about protecting vulnerable people.
It's not. It's a democratic forum. It's not the police. It's not a school.
Thank you. Councillor Malone, we've spoken about this before, only in council because you haven't met with me. I'm not going to have shouting. Okay?
Well, I've got Tourette's, so it's a protected characteristic, so shut the fuck up.
Shame.
You can fuck off as well.
Right, I'm adjourning for 5 minutes to allow people to cool down if that's what's needed. I'm not going to be told to shut the F up when I'm protecting a group of people. So we're going to take a 5-minute break, and I'd advise you get some advice, please, Councillor Malone.
I advise you take legal advice yourself.
We are still on public questions. I will just say I'm not being sat in this chair for my own glory. I'm not sat here to advance anything in my own life. I could have taken up crocheting. I'm not here to absorb abuse, nor a staff, verbal abuse. I'm not here to absorb aggressive glares, nudges, anything like that. I'm not here to absorb that, and I will be tackling that. And that's exactly why I agreed to take chair. So I'm not having people shouting out at me, getting personal, staring, swearing, or calling me a CUNT because they don't agree with what I'm doing. If you feel that I'm not chairing adequately, you have the right to follow the complaints procedure, and you can do that. What you don't have the right to do is to start shouting and verbally abusing me because I'm sat here as chair, and I'm not going to be standing for it or sitting for it. Okay? We're not going to be discussing it any more than that. If people want to put complaints in, please feel free to follow our own policies. I'm not having it continue for the rest of the meeting. We shall now continue and go back to our public questions. Thank you. We don't need clapping either, but thanks. Okay, question from Jenny Dingsdale. So you've had a response. Could you ask a supplementary question? And that's not a speech, it's a question, please.
The time limit for supplementary questions is 3 minutes. You've not allowed either of my friends 3 minutes, so I ask that you allow me my time before interrupting me,
I will make it
please.
very clear that the reason that those people were cut off is about the language they were using.
There was nothing wrong with the
against
language
those
they
people,
were using.
and I'm chairing this meeting. So I'm quite happy. If you want to make a complaint about it, that's fine. I'm asking you to not use similar language. Thank you.
Well, the response I had strikes me as yet another Lib Dem lie. Policies which endanger women by allowing men into their single-sex spaces are harmful. Policies such as the one referred to by Councillor Nuttall about Broadmeadow Leisure Centre, which says these men can go into whichever spaces they feel most comfortable in. Policies that compel the language of this cult, such as incorrect pronoun usage, are also harmful. Last week, the Lib Dems lost a legal case against one of their own for the awful discrimination that she faced because of her belief in reality over ideology. In this council, we've got Lib Dems chairing all the committees and
No, I'm sorry. You are here to ask a supplementary question. Your original question, I will read it out to remind you. I would like to know if this council has made any effort to correct harmful policies and plans influenced by Intercom or other trans activists, such as the creation of a changing village at Broadmeadow to be more trans-inclusive, and if not, why not? You were given a response.
That was not
you
my
get
full
to ask
question.
a supplementary question. What you don't get to do is to sit there and hold court for 3 minutes. You ask a supplementary question relating to your original question. If you have a question, please get to it.
In this council, we have Lib Dems chairing all the committees
Thank you very
overview
much.
and scrutiny.
I'm going to give you one last chance to ask your supplementary
I am asking
question.
my
So I want to hear it.
question.
It's got absolutely nothing to do with chairs and with council procedure.
It is to do with lies. My
Your
entire
question
has
was
been
about the changing...
Have you read my full question?
I've read your question.
Have you read my full question?
I've read the
I
question.
was assured
that
that it was
here.
sent to people. That was not my full question.
Do you have a supplementary question?
I do. In this council, we have Lib Dems chairing
that's
all
it.
the
Thank you very
committees
much.
and the Overview and Scrutiny Committee, which seems to me like you are marking your own homework and giving yourself top marks. I therefore call on this council to arrange an independent review
I'm sorry,
of your policies
you're not
and
getting
plans
to continue. That's it.
to
so
ensure
we shall
that
be,
Teignbridge actually
we
complies
adjourning
with
then
the
whilst
law,
the lady leaves the chamber.
not the
Thank
doctrine
you.
of this cult.
Adjourning, thank you. We adjourn. I'm just going to get some advice, then we shall re-adjourn. Okay, Councillor George, you've had your light on.
Yes, I had my light on from before Councillor Malone spoke, and I was trying to make a point of order, which wasn't taken. My point of order, as much as I may agree or disagree with the public questions, I do not think it's within the remit of the chair of this council to decide how those questions are framed, and I would agree that it is censorship, it is breach of freedom of expression, and it's hugely concerning. I would rather this meeting hadn't spiralled in the way that it did today, but I could have told you 5 minutes in that's the way it was going. People in a community-led council want to be heard. That's all they want. They have no power but their voice. And I would implore you to allow people to speak and ask questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Dawes. I appreciate that. But we also have a duty to protect vulnerable people as well. So